Hello everyone, welcome back. Happy Sunday. This is your reading for the September 8th, 2024, of course. I have allowed for reversals. I'm using Barbara Moore's deck, which Llewellyn reproduced. Cards are a little bit, well, they're actually about the normal size. I was going to say a little bit bigger, but I can't really say that because I took the borders off of all my other decks. So these would be what you're used to shuffling with. So what do you guys need to know for Sunday? Right there. Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles, but coming through reversed. So in the morning, maybe you've had some clearing as to maybe being in debt in the past, but bills that are bugging you or were bugging you. Maybe this morning that gets off of your mind. I'll read. I'll go through several different scenarios to cover all the possibilities. Then we have we have the Strength reversed and Ten of Wands reversed as well. But at least in this deck, you can see that the guy knows how to carry he knows how to carry his load. Okay. Let's see. With the theme being the Strength card coming through in the reverse position, well, we do want to be careful about not trusting ourselves. We want to be careful when it comes to, so basically, self-doubt. If you're feeling like you don't have much confidence, or if you're feeling a little too vulnerable, focus in on all the beauty of nature back here. Focus in on the lemniscate, the infinity symbol above her head. Focus in on where you know that things will always shift, and the only thing that's really eternal in life is love. Everything else is really just a mental construct that these things we have to go through testing. This is the testing ground, right? Earth is the testing ground. It's the school where we get to work through all of our false beliefs, our generalizations about ourselves, our generalizations about life. So in this deck, it looks to me like she's trying to calm this powerful force down. It's a little different than the Rider-Waite, being that there's the coming through. But I think, maybe it has to do, because coming through reversed, it gives me the feeling of maybe it's just overcoming people who are kind of grouchy right now. Maybe this, because it's Sunday, maybe you're hanging out with family members that are a little bit grouchy. And there's a lot of energy coming through, and they don't know what to do with it, especially with kids. Kids have, remember, and I don't know if you can remember it yourself. I can't, having that much power when I was little. But when I got older, I realized, it's pretty much everything is just this power management issue. And you can probably remember feeling really restless as a teenager. Every 2 years we have our Mars return, and we get an extra oomph of life force. So, hence that brings through what a lot of people would call about their kids. They would say terrible twos. Well, it's also 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and at 14 we have a Saturn square. Saturn opposition. At 7 years old, we have a Saturn square Saturn. Saturn squares our natal Saturn, right? 14. And we have that Saturn opposition where we're really like, 14's hard. I think 14 is probably the hardest. So, at the first one, we're trying to figure out the rules, the relationship rules especially. But anyway, I think we can all relate to being 14 and how challenging it was. I get a feel for this, even though, this card's ruled by Leo, and there's no Saturn going on here, but still, I feel like it. So, key words when the Strength card comes through reverse, we've got self-doubt, feeling a little cowardly, not having a lot of energy, feeling a little weak, a little vulnerable, and like I was saying before, a lack of self-confidence. And sometimes that's a good thing because we've got, kind of this like bite your tongue, well, don't bite your tongue, but don't say everything that just pops into your head, right? Because we still have Jupiter for quite some time. We have Jupiter in Gemini, and we're all learning a lot and we want to share, but then you got to be careful as to the person you're talking to. They might not be wanting to receive our opinions. So there's that. Okay, keywords with the Nine of Pentacles. So for some of us, it might be the need for external validation, especially if you're feeling like a lack of self-confidence or you're feeling kind of vulnerable. When we are feeling vulnerable, it does help to have someone on the outside say, you know what, I think you're doing really good under the circumstances. So that's the key message I get there. Maybe we should just pat ourselves on the back, focus in on what really matters most. And I love all the red robe that reminds us about the life force. That's a little different in this deck. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's a yellow robe, but here, just got that mix of purple and red, which is, royalty, but also the red being so connected to the life force. So, but anyway, back to the reversed meaning. Besides external validation, sometimes it is working too hard. Maybe we're waking up in the morning and maybe because, we got the day off on Monday, maybe we're still playing a little bit of catch up around the house. Maybe you had some friends over and barbecued and all that fun stuff, and you just all week long you weren't able to get to cleaning things up as the way you wanted, or maybe you let laundry go, and you know what I mean? So this morning, this Sunday morning, you might still be, like Saturday and Sunday, just might be heavier household chore days. But sometimes this card also brings through financial setbacks, like the loan you thought you had or the payback of the loan that you gave to someone else doesn't come through, and now you're feeling a little vulnerable. And then here we have with the Ten of Wands. Now, please, try to always remember to say, don't take any of these cards on for you personally. Just because I'm doing readings here doesn't mean I'm reading on you. And most of all, a lot of the times, it doesn't have anything to do with anybody. It's just a message with the meanings of the cards. Okay? You're getting free tarot lessons here. So, Ten of Wands reversed, it can bring through taking on too much responsibility or avoiding responsibility. Sometimes it's about feeling oppressed. Sometimes it's about repressing the life force, because upright, he's going full bore with that heavy load, and he's determined. But at the evening time, if this were to be accurate for anyone, this could be the evening of just feeling like, oh man, I took on way too much and I just can't finish it today. And then having to kind of surrender to that. Either way, the card is usually about burdens, could be about, this time it might be about releasing burdens. And then also it could be a card that speaks to somebody who's not being self-responsible, and this person is in your life. What if you have somebody living with you or visiting and all they do is just sit around and yell and talk about how great they are and how everybody's da-da-da-da-da. They might not be saying those words exactly like that, but that's a feeling you keep getting. Meanwhile, you're like, can I just have my own space back? And they're not taking self-responsibility for their own lives. And this could be one of those like Sundays where you just want to go, I'm going to go grocery shopping and leave. Could be something like that. So let's see. For the spiritual message, I would say the key to life is always to be really grateful for what you have and to focus in on all of your gifts. How many ways can you be grateful as to who you are? And we don't always need to say things out loud. Sometimes it's about being very quiet and keeping our mouths closed and being, just exuding that gentle love that we are without needing to be seen. And taking self-responsibility for what you believe about yourself and life is the most important thing. Others will always eventually show you who they are, and you'll get to learn whether or not they're trustworthy or what ways they are trustworthy, and then some ways they aren't. Right? Like you might not have the same political, leanings as people in your family, but you know that if something happened, they've got your back, and you would do the same for them. Where there's a close family bond, even though the minds don't think alike. Another weird thing with this strength card, I just keep focusing in on this. There's something else there, and I don't know what it is. Oh, I just heard that old saying, pride comes before the fall. So that's interesting. So if you have somebody that's very prideful in your life, just know that they're afraid of falling. And that would explain why they wouldn't be taking self-responsibility. Because, they just don't think along those lines. So, but anyway, you don't need their validation. You don't need external validation from them. You just need to validate yourself. And then that will bring through taking self-responsibility. So, okay. Well, it's been a lesson in reversals today, I think. Be back soon. Take good care.